This week, our Fun Flower project is a special showcase. It's a colorful room accessory that's functional along with being fun. So let's get started with this week's project. We have our shadow box. Most of the time, shadow boxes come in a raw state, so we're going to get to be as creative as we want to be with this project. We've got the entire interior of the box to fill. The best way for us to think about this project is to get a visual representation in our mind. Many times when I'm working on a project, I draw it out first. So we have our box. We want to think about the materials that we're going to use inside. I've pre-selected a few things that might work really well for today's project. I've looked at the interior of the JTV studio and decided that we're going to use orange and green. Now I've got the orchids and I've also got the Gerber daisies. I think the Gerber daisies would be really good as a background. I'll line them up in a row like that. And I really like the way the bubble ball branch from Knud Nielsen looks. It's a great contrast with the lime green and the orange of the Gerber daisies. If I can use a couple stems of that here, maybe extend one all the way to the top, that'll give me a little bit more dimension in the box itself. Then I think if we add a few decorative stones at the bottom of the box, and then maybe put a green butterfly or two there. That gives me an idea when I start to work with this, so I know where the items are going to go. Our first step is to paint it completely. We used the Olive Bright from Design Master, and again, gave our box several coats. We painted it inside and out. That's the great thing about Design Master. We can use it to paint just about anything. And we'll go ahead and use our Gerber daisies. I'm going to use my Nip-X to cut these off right at the back. And we're going to line those down the inside of the box. I think 4 should measure out just about right. Save our orchids and the rest of the Gerbers for another project later on. Using my hot pan melt glue, I can attach the Gerber daisies. I like using hot pan melt glue, but if you have a glue gun, that works well too. Making sure that we apply plenty of glue to the back of the flower itself. Remember that hot glue is great for permanent products, ribbon, anything that's a hard good. When we have fresh flowers, we use cold glue. But hot glue is great for all of these types of products. The great thing about using the Olive Bright as a background, any color that we place in front of it, it makes that color bubble up. It just makes that orange seem even more vibrant being on that Olive Bright background. Now's a great time for me to make sure how I'm going to attach this to the wall. So I make sure that that's my orientation. This is the top and this is the bottom. I want to make my stems look as if they're growing up. Measure that and cut it off. I'm going to use a second one. I'm going to try and wedge it in here exactly from top to bottom. Use my hot glue on the bottom. We'll trim off just a little bit more. I'm always making sure that I stay away from where my glass is going to slide into place. That way it's not going to look funny when I've got it all done. Remember that it's easier to always make our stems shorter. We can never make them longer. I'm going to stand this up to add the second one. I can hold this in place. Because I'm using low temp glue, the glue's going to dry pretty fast. If I want to, I can secure it in place using a couple of decorative stones. That can help balance it in place and secure it for right now. I'll add another one at the bottom of the other stem. Now it's time to add our butterflies. I'm going to take the pin off of the back of the butterfly. Use just a little bit of my hot glue. So I can place them exactly where I want them. Use a little bit of the decorative ribbon around the outside of the container itself. A little bit of hot glue. We can lay that in place. I'm going to run a bead of hot glue at each edge to make sure my ribbon remains taut on all sides. Working one side at a time is important because the glue dries really fast. It's important that you take your time and enjoy yourself when you're creating a project like this. Because it's a permanent botanical, it's going to be around for a while, and we want to make sure we're proud of what we made. I'm going to cut off my ribbon and give it a straight edge, but because it's wired, I can fold it back underneath and create a more finished edge. I'm going to use a second ribbon to give this a little bit more of a hip retro feel. There's that one, or I can use this one. I think I like this one better. It's actually not quite as busy. I can conceal the glue underneath these little dots. Using a low temp glue gun is really convenient. Because this ribbon's very sheer, I can still apply it and use my fingers to put it in place. It won't be so hot I can't touch it. You'll notice that I kept this ribbon below where my glass slides into place. It would be okay if I wanted to use a wider ribbon and cover that up, but I'd want to put the glass in place first and attach the ribbon after that. I've cut this ribbon off at the exact same length as the other one, so the attachment points are in the same place. When we use a hot glue gun, a lot of times we get little glue webs like this. We can pick them off, or we can use another convenient tool. It's my heat gun. If we use the heat gun and we have little glue webs like that, simply by using the heat gun, they dissolve completely. Just want to make sure that we stay far enough away so that we don't melt any of our flowers. The great thing would be is if we could fill in the entire bottom with the decorative stones. That's an easy thing for us to do. We pour in a good quantity at the bottom. Then when we stand this up, they'll fall into place. Now it's time for our JTV trick of the week. We're going to use a light inside our box to make this even more decorative. I'm going to use one of the submersible acolytes. We can glue it up here at the top. But I'm going to use a little bit of ribbon around the outside. And I need to be careful to stay on the outside being cautious just to stay on the very tip so that I can still twist this on and off. Now I can reach up inside there. It's almost like a little Chinese lantern. If I was going to close this and have it permanently closed all the time, it could be a problem to have these stones dropping out all the time. We can use a little bit of hot glue to hold them in place. That's going to be a great solution for sliding our glass in and out, so we'll be able to get in there and turn on our light. I want to make sure that I clean the glass on both sides before I put it back in. It's a little bit of my glass cleaner from Design Master. They make the best glass cleaner. Once you've tried theirs, you'll never want to use anything else. Turn on our light. And slide our glass into place. So now we're finished with our happy, illuminated, colorful shadow box. Remember, we can also set it on the table if we want to, or we can hang it on the wall. Today we had fun creating something personal that can be part of our interior. It's a fun project that you can do with kids. It's great quality time. Remember to make it personal and allow your kids to show off their creativity. And it's functional as well as fun. Remember, you're creating a memory that will last a lifetime. This week, our special thanks go out to Acolyte for providing illuminating, safe lighting sources. and to Design Master Color Tool for creating my favorite color, Olive Bright. Until next week, keep having fun with flowers.